Hello, welcome to the Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Scott Baxter. You'll get the best sports betting and sports gambling news right here. Uh, Today I'm going to be speaking about myself, which I struggle to do, but later in the week I'm going to be covering a US horse racing event, and I'll be covering the Ryder Cup. I'll be doing a preview of that tomorrow, and then following it all the way through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I'll also be covering the English Premier League, so there's lots of opportunities to sports bet and sports gamble all the way through the week, the rest of this week. The reason I want to do this is because there's so much crap spoke about sports gambling, sports betting, call it what you want, but it comes from people that don't know what they're speaking about, and also the sports media and the gambling companies themselves. I'll go in. Basically, I don't like online casinos or online slots. I think they should be separated from sports betting. Uh, I should really just tell you why I've seen up close the real impacts that it has on people that are betting on uh, online events. It started back when I was a bookie, but I seen people crying because they've lost everything. Uh, I've seen all sorts of things in the bookies. But anyway, to start with, I'll explain a little bit about myself. Um, when I was 5, I started playing cards with my grandmother and my cousins, my brothers. It was a social event, and I really fell in love with card games when I was 5. That continued throughout the rest of my life. I still love card games today, but when I was 12, I started betting on sports, and initially it was horse racing and football. Uh, I would be 12 years old at a Hunterding racecourse, on the inside of the track, uh, standing up by the last fence, or watching the race, or going up and down the bookies looking for the best price or something. That's where my sports betting started, with my dad, by the way. Um, I played a lot of sports at school, everything that I could do sports wise. I did uh, football, rugby, golf. For a period, also for a couple of years, maybe nearly 3, I was boxing as well. So, Hunterding Police Station, Mickey, the guy that trained us, he died a couple of years ago, sadly, but he was an old man when, like, I was a boy, so he must have been really old when he died. Back when I was living in a box, he couldn't put the pads on and take you on the pads because his arms weren't strong enough even back then. What he would do is stand next to the ring and watch us spar and shout like different things to us, like normally calm down you idiots, you know, but I was with my mates. But anyway, I then went to college. I actually got a diploma in electrical and mechanical engineering. My math skills came into play there. Also, I should mention I grew up in the countryside, so all my family is farmers, and we were all used to fixing what we had is the main thing. But it worked out well when I done the engineering thing at college. But although my first job, my first real job was actually harvesting, helping like a local farmer near Newtown harvest these carrots. But after that, I got a job working in Dundee Casino as a trainee croupier. A lady called Susan Black played the main part in training me. There was other people as well that helped to train me, but she played the biggest part, definitely. I should also point out from those days, he knew Susan as well. A guy called Jim Scully is up in Aberdeen right now, managing one of their casinos up there. I had a lot to do with Jim. He was one of the best dealers that I've ever seen. He actually came with me down to London because although I would started in Dundee Casino when it was Stacke's and down by the waterfront, it's moved since then. Within a year, I'd gotten a job working for London clubs. Jim also got that. Another guy as well, Steve McElravy, he came down with us. All three of us went down, and we all ended up working in the Golden Nugget, which is shut now. And as far as I know, it was near Piccadilly Circus on Shaftesbury Avenue, right across from Soho. So yeah, we had a lot of interesting characters coming in, let's say. From there I went, after about another year, I got a job working for Stanley's Casinos, and they put me in a casino called Cromwell Mint, right across from the Natural History Museum. I met more interesting people in there. I didn't know at the time, but I then become aware of that it was actually an ex-Craig club, and some of the old firm used to still frequent it, and well, I've seen them every day, and I would speak to them. One person that I will mention from that circle is Bernie Lee. He was quite chatty. Don't ever think that I was friendly with him, because I seen him. I would enjoy actually speaking to him about boxing and sport. He hit the roof with me a couple of times, but that's just the person that he was. But when I was there, I also did shifts along at the Colony and Crockford's in Mayfair, who were part of the same Stanley's Casinos at the time. And from there I got permanently transferred to Crockford's, where I spent most of my time. I'll just tell you about Crockford's. Was the highest stake in the world for casino games, so it attracted not high rollers, whales, and it attracted various different types of people. They were all rich. Inside it was like a palace. So on Curzon Street in Mayfair, it's closed now. But yeah, we attracted all kinds of people, well-known people. For instance, I dealt to 5 different royal families, and some of them was quite regular, especially during our summer. Also dealt with various billionaire businessmen that you know. Most of them are still alive. One that has died since then is Kerry Packer, and I must have taken millions of him. He was an interesting guy as well. A big lover of Scottish football, no, Scottish rugby, by the way. Even though he was Australian, I think he had Scottish roots. But famous people in there, George Michael, he's dead now. He used to enjoy coming in and speaking to us and playing the games when he was in London and not touring. But his husband would sit up in the restaurant, and when he was finishing his meal, George would come down and play with us for a while. sounds terrible, does it? Play casino games with us and chat to us. And what I will say about him is that I feel that he wanted to live his life through what we were getting up to. I used to tell him everything about what I was getting up to at the weekends and stuff, you know, when I wasn't at work. But yeah, he was never in any trouble and a great guy. So rest in peace, him, and also Kerry Packer. Probably since then as well. I mean, the better clientele, the richer clientele that was dealing with also attracted people going about like organised crime and stuff in the UK, but these people were international gun runners. So if you wanted to buy, like, not a gun, but if you wanted to buy like a lorry load of guns and whatever to start a coup with, you would speak to these guys. But it was quite interesting. Had a great time. I worked with like a really great bunch of people, and it was like, although I'm Scottish and it was in London, it really felt like a home from home. The thing about that part of it, the casino career that I had, was that you would never, you had to prove yourself to be able to get in somewhere like that, and you had to prove that not only you knew the rules and you could do the job, but you were able to handle the people as well. So I have a very unique way of telling people no. And they used to tell me, "Oh, Scott, that was so aggressive." But I turned around to my bosses and say, "What are you on about? I just told them no, that's all." But I was young at the time, you know. So anyway, as you move up in casinos, you start inspecting. In Crawford's, you weren't inspecting two tables, you were inspecting one table, because it was, if there was a game, it was a big game or a big stake game anyway. So yeah, you couldn't fake it until you make it. You had to know your stuff and you had to prove yourself first before you got permanently working in somewhere like Crawford's. But underneath all that, the remember I said that I'd met the old London firm in the Cromwell Mint. They actually, that's my wages came from Liverpool, but the word is that they also had a stake in it as well, along with, by the way, the American Mafia. So or the American Italian Mafia, to be more precise. But during that time, I was also dealing and playing in private card games. By the way, I wrote a post on LinkedIn about one of the guys that was at one of the card games, and that he was actually ended up being quite famous. But he was part of the firm bit as well. But if you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's if you type in Scott Baxter, it should come up, or Scott Baxter Card Game Events. I had that for a little while. I'll tell you a bit about that later. But you can follow me on LinkedIn, or you can invite me to connect on LinkedIn, and you can read all my posts on LinkedIn as well for free. So I started inspecting in Crockford's. I was sitting at the end of the table watching what was happening, instead of anything really, my only job was to step in if things were going wrong, or if there was a wrong pair, or if something needs sorted out, I'd step in. But really, it was boring, and I think the fact that I was sitting down watching the games, I think I would have been better off standing up. But anyway, I didn't like it. I got bored. I was doing really well in casinos. I got on well with the punters and the colleagues that I worked with as well. I was really flying up it, but I got bored. I decided I wanted to go back to Scotland. Uh, Before that, I went to Argentina and Chile. I had a year out, and I threw myself into their lives. It wasn't really a backpacking tour because for periods I actually rented an apartment. For other periods I was staying in 4-star hotels all the time, so it was that cheap. I'd get up in the morning, have an Irish whiskey, I would go for a walk, I would have another Irish whiskey, I would have a cafe cortado, and I would really eat well and sleep well. I had a great time out there, mostly in Argentina, but I did go to Chile as well. Chile was very Spanish in the level of living that they had there. There's a big uh, thing between Argentina and Chile. They're at each other's throats quite often. Uh, so anyway, I went back to Scotland I actually worked in a sawmill for a couple of months, just lifting wood off the end of the saw, stack it on a pallet, and then I became involved with bookies, bookmakers, sports betting, and my first job was with a company called William Hill, and I was taught how to be a bookie, or the rules and everything of bookmaking, by a lady called Janet Leishman, and there was other people as well, other managers that helped me out were Peter Martin, Martin Rooney, Alan McEwen. They all played a part in teaching me even just a little bit. Um, the pear shop was really busy. We had a lot of customers, and we it was like most bookmakers, it was buried in amongst other competing bookies, and also lots of bars around about us when bars were popular, not so much now. By the way, as well, at the end of the time at Perth bookies on Merton Street in Perth, we started getting what they call FOBT machines coming, and they were the betting terminals for if you wanted to play an online casino game or online slots. You went and played the machines, and I noticed when they first came in, we got a different group of clientele from the amusement arcade down the road, and they were just charging their credit cards 2, 3, 4 times a day or a night, whatever, and that is part of the reason why I'm totally against online casinos and online bookies. The thing about them doing that in the bookies was I could say to them, get off of the machine, or if they were showing signs of distress, tell them to come and have a cup of tea with me, or have a laugh, or whatever, distract them from the casino. If they're doing the same at home, nobody can distract them. They will sit and play all their money and more before they realise that they've made a mistake, and of course by then there's no way for them to get their casino their money back. And so although I'm going to be speaking about sports betting, I want everybody to know that it's up to yourself to make sure that you don't gamble with money that you don't have, and it's everybody's own responsibility that that happens. The ultimate aim for this podcast is to help sports bettors either lose less or win more. That's all I want to do. I don't want to, if you do it and you find, I'm losing money, don't do it. And, it's really that as simple as that. From there I went through to Dundee Casino, Dundee Bookies for William Hill again, on Whitehall Crescent, and I actually met in there two people that I knew from Dundee Casino all those years previously. One of them was Salim. He was quite well known, quite a regular in the bookies. The other one was Emilio. He appeared a couple of times in the Dundee Casino, but he was a gambler, and he had a temper on him, but it was funny, I ended up becoming really close to him in the bookies, but he was one of the main punters. It was the new shop on Whitehall Crescent. We also had the Dundee bus drivers coming in. They were quite good. We ended up putting a five-a-side football team together, and we took on Ladbrokes, and I'd like to tell you that we thrashed them every game, but actually that never happened. They were thrashing us most of the time until we got ourselves some good football players playing for us, and we started teaching them a lesson. Anyway, that's William Hill v Ladbrokes. After that, I became involved in renewable energy, and I thought it would be my career for the rest of my life, but actually that industry fell apart probably about 10 years ago now, so I had to look for something else. I became a fire extinguisher engineer. I would go around people's businesses and would check their fire equipment, really. Less said about that, the better. And from there I went to being a self-employed handyman, where I was just labouring, like what I was when I was less than 16. When I was at school, I was doing those sort of jobs. It took me up to 2020. I started card game events, and you'll know that I had a lot to do previously with card games for money, but this card game events was non-gambling, and it was it also had a corporate card game as well, where I would speak about the non-academic skills used in business. It's something that you can learn at a card game. Of course, COVID started in 2020 as well, and really, card game events never even really had an opportunity to survive. So I've went through a period of being unemployed, but I'm a fighter, so this at the moment is what I'm doing, and if you want to keep it going, I think I've said this already, but you need to subscribe and like. It helps the algorithm if people are typing in sports betting to find my videos. The other thing you'll notice about this podcast is that there's absolutely no editing, there's no scripts. It's not that I just don't have the tech or the technology to be able to do it, and speaking to people is what I do. So yeah, I've got some headers of topics that I need to speak about, and that's it. Like I say, coming up tomorrow, there's going to be US horse racing. I want to explain a bit about that, and also go through the card somewhere in the US, don't know where yet. Also tomorrow we'll be doing a preview of the Ryder Cup. I should mention this now actually. Currently you get 7 to 4 for Europe to win, and I'm telling you it's a bet. It's not a gamble, it's a bet. So we'll go into that in greater detail tomorrow. I'll explain about the odds. The odds for Europe to win the Ryder Cup is 7 to 4 at the moment. So we'll go into the odds and the chances of them winning, etc. We'll explain to you tomorrow as well what we'll be doing gambling wise on that. We'll also that'll be Thursday. On Friday then we'll be speaking about the gambles at the Ryder Cup and previewing the English Premier League games on the Saturday and Sunday. I believe there's a game next Monday as well, but there's a lot coming up to look forward to. Like I say, press like, hit the subscribe, keep the podcast going. If I can earn money from the podcast, I can make it all. I can get all the tech that I need to make it better. So I don't need really, it's one of these things. You'll do it if you like it. The main thing is don't look out the window at politics or the news or anything like that. It'll just get you down. So get into sports, betting, stay happy until society calms down a bit, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.